Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of All Score No Defense Comedy, the best comedy channel, or one of the best comedy channels. And on this comedy segment, I'm going to be describing the time where I got my very first sack playing football. Let's get into it. But before I get into it, I got to ask, everybody doing all right? How y'all doing today? All right, let's get into it. Let me get comfortable. Okay, so this story takes place when I was in 7th grade. Now, when I was in 7th grade, I used to love playing football. But get this, I was only 4'6". I was one of the shorter players. So whenever they had tryouts, man, I was super happy. Now, I always used to play defense. I love to play defense, whether it was basketball or football. Now, I wasn't too good at defense when it came to basketball because at 4'6", there's only so many things you can do. Am I right or am I right? But at football, I love to play defense. And my very first position playing football was linebacker. I know, right? You're like, how the heck? But anyways, I was actually pretty good at linebacker. I was really good at linebacker. Like, really good. Really good. Like, for real, for real. All right, so 7th grade tryouts came around, and, I ended up making B team. And, man, I was super, super happy for that. I was like, man, I really made B team. Because I thought B team was, I thought B team was like A team. Man, was I mistaken. But anyways, okay, so we have our very first game, and then in our very first game, our coach, he was always telling us, you guys got to keep that web. Make sure you guys keep that web. The web is like, don't let nobody outside, keep that web, all that type of stuff. So I'm like, okay, got to keep the web, got to keep the web. Man, when I tell you, it was the perfect opportunity. We were going up against a middle school. We was going up against a middle school football team, and man, I saw the perfect opportunity. They were doing a scrambling play. No, not scrambling play. They were doing a play out of the shotgun. All right, so you guys know how in Madden you can kind of line up offsides, but not offsides. Like you can kind of line up on the side. Man, that was me. And I had them old school chin straps, the ones that went like that and kind of like that. So it was like I couldn't really see anything. So I was just reading and reacting. So next thing you know, they go down, set, and boom, I timed it perfectly. You know how like when you play Madden, how your timing can be perfect and that arrow or that green just lights up under your player? That was me. And man, I jumped the line so fast. It was like, man, I did that. I was running. And mind you, I'm super skinny at the time. Like I didn't have any muscle or anything. So I'm super skinny at the time. And it's like my pads and stuff are starting to fall off. So as I'm running, my pads, like my little thigh pad, it's starting to fall off and it ends up falling down out of my shoe. So I end up tripping. But the lucky part about it is the quarterback didn't see me. So as I'm tripping, I'm like that. And I end up tackling the dude. So I got my very first sack. But mind you, when I tackled the dude, my momentum, because I was one of those clumsy players. Those type of players that if they do something good, they end up like falling over like 3-4 times. That was me. So I tackled the dude and I'm like rolling, I'm woo, 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 woo. And man, like I couldn't keep my feet or nothing. Man, oh man, was I that dude after I got that sack. Ooh-wee. Man, the coaches loved me. I had some females that was loving me too. But I was like, man, I was super ecstatic. And then the coach was like, look at you, man. Look at you paying attention to what I did or what I told y'all to do in practice. And man, I got a sack in the NFL game. But when I tell y'all everybody treated me with so much respect, now don't get me wrong, it was B team. So, you ain't finna get no love from the A team type players. But man, I was happy because me being 4'6", getting a sack on somebody that's way taller than me, that was like a dream come true. And then, man, that was actually in a much needed win game. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that was the story of when I got my very first sack in a middle school game. And that was actually a very fun experience. And that's one that I'll never forget. But that's all for this episode of All Score No Defense Comedy. If you guys like what you saw, be sure to subscribe. I do new comedy skits like this or new comedy stories every Friday. And I'm out.